All right, we are recording. Hello, welcome to Suitcase Disc by Disc, hosted by the Tin Can Laughter. I'm Ben,
Dan.
and today we're going to look into Suitcase 1, Disc 3.
Yes.
You gave this a nickname the last time we talked
Yeah,
about it.
I called this the 0 to 99 disc because what is it, 4 or 5 songs?
It's
That got remade. Yeah.
outright. I can identify 3. I can identify 3 right off the bat that got remade on that specific album.
Yeah. Metal, Circuitry Soldier, Exploding Anthills.
Yeah.
That's 3.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to talking about all 3 of those songs.
Oh, and Tracked Aircraft. So that's
Oh,
4.
wow.
But
Wow.
Yeah, but plus, yeah. And we already talked about another one last episode,
Yeah.
which was Pluto
Pluto
the
the
Skate.
Skate. Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of Boston spaceships to work with here.
Yeah,
so
very
without further ado, a song that didn't get reworked by Boston Spaceships, Long Way to Run.
Yeah, that's. I think the Boston Spaceships had a rule like only remake solo like acoustic tracks. So this one certainly doesn't count because that's a full band number, kind of late '80s. I'm looking at the track time right now. It's only a minute 38. I didn't realize that actually. I didn't realize that was a short one. I feel like his earlier songs, or the songs of this era, were a little on the longer side.
Yeah, I mean longer by the standards of what else GD, like once GDG got really weird and the songs got a little shorter, whereas I mean this is just clean pop.
Yeah.
Pop using GDV terms.
Yeah. Good old late 80s college rock, jangle rock.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. I don't know that Long Way to Run was a Learning to Hunt outtake. I think even by that point, Bob was starting to get a little tricky with arrangements. I don't think this was one of them.
I think you're right, yeah.
But it's from that era of just...
For sure.
Yeah, of 80s, of Bob making power pop in the 80s. And it doesn't sound like the albums that came out. Could this have been like for something we just don't know about? Like,
yeah, probably. Yeah.
It wasn't
like one of those weird tapes, like Rifle Games.
There
was tapes that were made that we probably know nothing about.
Well, Pissing in the Canal is that's Suitcase 4. God, I'm gonna have so much fun with that one. Rifle Games. I think there's a Rifle Games song in here.
Yep.
There's messages on here. But I think every now and then I'll hear about something called Down in the Valley, and the only thing anyone knows for sure about it was Tent Troper Funeral. Except there's a whole bunch of songs in Suitcase 3 that sound exactly like that.
Oh,
like the original Brainchild. But this doesn't sound like that either. So I don't know.
Yeah. You think it's a Wilbur recorded track? It's gotta be, right?
See, I don't know who else Bob could have worked with at the time, so I have to believe it's Wilbur, just because I don't know who else it could have been.
Yeah.
Actually, it might. We'll probably get I'm gonna have to cut this out. Actually, I might not because it is fairly relevant. I just thought again about Troopers in the Town, which I think is from that period, and then this, and it's the same drum mix. The drums sound exactly the same. Down to whoever's playing them, maybe Kevin or Peyton. Because it's the same like fills on both songs. It just occurred to me. It's like, that might all be like one album of which we do not really know its existence. We've just heard like all the songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely enough tracks of that era that are not pegged to a specific album or shit-canned album. So
yeah. Speaking of songs that almost kind of went on something, maybe sort of, I do believe Mr. Media is from that. Well, listeners at home may notice that I keep referring to a batch of Solo Bob Do the Collapse demos that I presume came from 1997. Like, half the demos have been released, and a lot of them are on this first Suitcase. But then there's others that are like James Riot with completely different lyrics and a new arrangement.
Yeah, like a solo arrangement of James Riot.
Or Teenage FBI that opens with the chorus. Like,
yeah.
Y'all at home just have to take my word for it that this stuff is real. It's like it's brain melting just knowing it exists. And I can kind of see why this one didn't move forward. Like, it's a good tune, but it's a good Suitcase tune.
It's a great Suitcase tune, yeah, for sure. And I don't really see it fitting on Do the Collapse or really that era. It doesn't need it. It just works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like
Bob sells it with his voice and guitar alone. So
yeah,
good song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Settlement Down was the big revelation. I'm gonna put that in important songs now because I've been thinking about it every day since I've listened to it because that's Learning to Hunt '88, right?
Yeah. And they actually played the song live in the 2000s, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Like, probably around the time this came out.
Yeah, because that's what I kept thinking is, it's like, this song was written before GBV got, like, stuck to being really weird. And it's like, this could have been on Isolation Video. It sounds...
Oh, yeah.
Like, it sounds more like the stuff Bob wrote with Doug, or for Doug, I guess.
Totally. Even the drum pattern.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I can hear that, you know?
Maybe, no, Universal Truths. I'm going to say Universal Truths.
Totally,
that's more
yeah.
That album
That's
has a lot more
thinking.
toms, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a faster car language. Like, that would have worked. That would have worked too. I guess Bob wasn't super interested in doing full-blown Suitcase remix, and I say full-blown for disc 4, but yeah, like see, that's the central thing that every Suitcase brings up is every disc has at least one song that makes you go, how did Bob not do anything with this?
Totally.
Like, Settlement Down would not have fit on Self-Inflicted at all.
No.
Not at all. But like Propeller, fucking throw it on Propeller, God. It would have worked there too. Because anything, because like you could have put anything in Propeller and it would work. So why wouldn't this? Yeah.
Is this the one? Doesn't he say like the
world's
largest? What's he say?
The world's largest community of brick homes. That's Huber Heights, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
I think it actually
a Dayton tidbit.
Yeah, well, because there's someone on the board I think who lives in Huber Heights. Is it Delhi?
Yeah.
God, it's probably Delhi. Who was like, no, it actually is. I don't remember though.
No, she lives in Yellow Springs. I know that.
Another name I know. Man, there's a lot of towns that are just like synonyms for Dayton, like North.
Exactly. One thing. So driving to Dayton, as someday I hope you experience.
One day.
When you start getting close, first of all you cross Mad River, and then also there's a town near Dayton, London, which like I took on the London guys. I realized like, oh, that's probably more about that London than, but maybe it blurs the lines.
It's another Boston Spaceship song about football.
Yeah. So, all right. So, now we go from Mr. Media to Mr. Japan.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Japan is part of the Back to Saturn X radio report.
Yep. And it's another Dan Toohey on bass and Tobin Sprout on guitar kind of jam.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. I just said you could put anything in Propeller and it would work. That's not true. Because Mr. Japan I don't think would have worked. Because like Particular Damage being the one to make the album, it just makes sense. But I think
that one, because of the vocal, has like that intensity or like that just like scuzziness.
Yeah. Whereas like the other tracks from that didn't get fucked up like that.
Yeah.
But it's like Mr. Japan could have been in an EP. Like it's one of those songs.
Incorrect Corinthians.
Straight to the rocket.
Yeah.
Come back to the world with cash in his pocket. We are... Like, that's a great hook. And it's funny, because Bob used the hook on B1000, but he used it on Her Psychology Today, so you'd never make the connection.
That's true, yeah.
I
feel like... Yeah, is there another, like, little, like, lyrical snippet that showed up elsewhere? I can't think of it. I might be thinking of, another one of those.
Might be another one. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I might know what you're thinking of, and if I'm thinking of the right thing, it's going to be very relevant later. Or what was it?
Well, he says something about I'll start a new life, which kind of reminds me of Valuable Hunting Knife, but
that could be. That's such a common phrase
already.
Yeah. Like the rules of Bob's Recycling do not apply to common phrases.
That's true.
Like every song where Bob says "yeah" is not a recycle.
Touche.
Yeah. Kind of love.
The kind of love. Very, yeah. I like this kind of, it's another early 80s, or not early 80s.
That's definitely early 80s, because it's a live recording.
Yeah, it's a live recording. I think it's the Needmores.
I don't think that's the Needmores show.
You don't? Okay.
No, because those are... Because, like, there's a bunch of live stuff on Suitcase 2, and the tracks labeled as the Needmores just sound a little different. But I think it's the same show from that... I have to assume that it's the same show that Saved My Life from Suitcase 4 is on.
Oh, okay.
Just because I can't even begin to wrap my head around the idea that Bob is sourcing these from multiple shows that are recorded and feature songs we will never hear.
Oh, man.
But I do like Kind of Love. I think I prefer the one on 3 more. But it is a nice song.
There's a studio version, right?
Yeah, that's the one on 3. With a 12 string.
So what's nice about the song is it's just, it's another jangly one. It's got a kind of softer intro, and then the drums come in, and they're kind of got a nice like pound to them, It doesn't like rock per se, but it
doesn't have
cool.
to.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Yeah.
The song does not rock, but it rules though.
Yeah, yeah. A song doesn't need to rock to rule.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a song doesn't need to rule to rock.
Yeah.
Well, I think that. I think a song can rock and also be very bad. That's more what I mean.
I don't know if that's true.
It doesn't have to be. I'm just making shit up as I go.
Okay.
Yo, you know what's great is we've done 5 songs and it's only been 11 minutes. We're on a roll.
Boom, boom, boom.
Maybe these songs are just not. I mean, a lot of these are mellower tracks that don't always. I don't know. They don't lend as much discussion.
Yeah.
Let's change that. Metal.
Let's change that. Metal.
Oh God.
Metal in your
problems. You.
Just such a good, good melody, good hook. Really unusual.
And I guess Bob agreed because this is the first of 4 or 5. I think he said 4. 4 tracks that were re-recorded specifically for the 3rd Boston Spaceships album, 0 to 99. The first Spaceships the first Spaceships album I ever heard, I will note.
Oh, nice.
It's still. I think it's probably just a tangent of brief, but it's still probably my least favorite. But it's not bad. No, because I don't like the comedian.
Oh man.
That I think about a lot. Is I don't really like the comedian. I think like Nerk Twin has a secret list of everything he hates about me, and that's probably like number 3. Is that I don't really like it. Yeah. Among like the times that I've legitimately annoyed him, but yeah.
You said you once disparaged Found Obstructions rock and roll, maybe? On the board?
I don't want to tangent too much because I can see it heading there now. I have a difficult relationship with generally goofy music. But when that song comes on and you're moving carts around in a ShopRite parking lot and it's 90 degrees out and you can feel your legs starting to give out because you're not in great physical shape, that song hits a little differently.
Gotcha.
That's
a little spring in your step.
Yeah. Like it's not a song that I really would like pick, but if it came on, it's like, oh yeah, it's a good. It's got enough going for it. Like I
gotcha.
I was able to give it the credit it deserved.
It's got some verve to it. Okay, that's good.
Granted, the best song on that album is that album has 2 best songs, and they're both on this disc too, and this is one of them, and it is metal.
Metal. So how about that Boston Spaceships arrangement of that? I love that kind of chug, that kind of forward momentum.
Sorry.
Yeah, like, well, you hear it, you kind of hear it in this demo, but like, I would have guessed it would have turned out that rockin'. I kind of always thought of this as a very like folky song. Yeah, like a more, I don't
know if ethereal is the right word, but it's like the guitar treatment on this and the other Ben Zing songs are very 80s. Like there's a chorus, there's an echo, despite it being a rhythm guitar. Like that's fine, but I've never been able to get a chorus that subtle, which I will also note. But is it a chorus? Is it a chorus?
Melody.
It doesn't matter. It's a great song. The Boston Spaceships one. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry. That little guitar hook.
Bob is nice. Bob has the ear of a lead guitarist.
Yes.
He really does.
Sure.
Yeah. he just waits until the time is right. I mean, I guess he hasn't been doing it too much recently because he's not really playing guitar on the stuff he puts out.
Well, sometimes you hear him do it with when we heard the Birthday Democrats demo, and he does like that do 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 do, you know. So
yeah,
he does.
So he's still writing some of the leads.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it shows here. I gotta give the Spaceships one the edge because Bob's harmonies on the fade out on the Spaceships version are top 10 Bob vocal because it just works. Because it's an interval you don't really hear in songs where it's the tonic and then it's going up to the minor seventh. That's all. Yeah, like it's almost an octave, but it's not, and that's not something you usually hear.
Interesting. That's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, it's great here too. Like, I mean, of course it's great here. It's metal.
Yeah, it's Benzing.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah. We shouldn't have to tell you that Benzing is one of the best things to ever grace the Suitcases.
Yeah.
Okay. Big Trouble.
Big Trouble.
Okay.
May I just say this song? Okay, so Hazard Hot Rods. This song is 7 minutes and 50 seconds.
Jesus.
That's gonna be one of the longest tracks that Bob's ever released. I know there's a couple longer ones I can think of, but
yeah, like a lot of those are just like multi-part or it's just noise.
But this one's just kind of a hoedown.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because I have the CD, I have the Hazard Hot Rod CD, and on there, Big Trouble is like 4.5 minutes. And for the longest time,
seriously?
Yeah, and for the longest time I didn't know why. And then like earlier this week, actually listening to Big Trouble again, it's like, oh, that's why. Because this version doesn't edit anything out. It's just like, they'll go on for 1.5 minutes of 2 chords and Bob saying one line over and over, and then they'll stop and it's like, they'll just say something to each other, and then they'll start doing it again. And it's because of those stop-starts, this is my strange take you didn't see coming, is exactly why Big Trouble belongs on Suitcase. I do not like Big Trouble, but it belongs on Suitcase. Because it is the most raw. It is just guys making music for the hell of it. In the back of a video store.
What I like about this is when Bob gets this idea, he's like, and he tells the band, he's like, okay, stop. He's like, bring it down, way down, you know, and then they stop, and then he does that, well, one of these days it won't be long, and then they slam into it. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's the kind of thing that really only could have happened in 1990. Like, no one gave a shit who GBV were. So they could just kind of do that. Like, I mean, I could imagine they did that, you know, Titus era, I guess, too. But I think by that point, Bob had lost interest in trying to be at least that kind of a bar band kind of sound. Like that, Like these recordings are like the last of like Ohio Bob. Well, maybe not, but that's an argument for another time.
This is a gem.
Yeah, this is a gem. It's called A Good Circuitry Soldier. I don't know.
I really love this song.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I guess Bob did too, because you may have heard this sentence before. It's on 0 to 99!
Heck yeah. That's a mandatory repeater for me. It's too short.
Yeah. I mean, the spaceship, again, I don't want to keep saying that the Spaceships version is better. I mean, it's true, it is better. But I feel like that takes away some of the merit for the original version, so I'm not going to talk about how beautiful the Spaceships one is, and instead talk about how this was recorded with Dorothy's A Planet and on shortwave.
Yeah. What a great batch of songs, and they all ended up scattered around.
Yeah,
but,
they all ended up on albums in 2009, and they all take different approaches. Like, On Shortwave becomes a full-blown orchestral ballad. Dorothy, Good Circuitry. So actually, who am I kidding? They're all ballads. And they're all really good. Yeah. So I want to say they all spin in different directions, but they really don't. It's just the production. Good Circuitry Soldier is a good song, I guess, about a circuitry soldier. I'd like to know where Bob got that name, because it's not obvious.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the song itself takes directions that maybe aren't the most obvious either.
I don't know what'll happen with this.
Yeah. like when he says this is a gem, I don't know where I'm going with this one. For the longest time, I thought he said jam, and that he was like making up the music as he went along.
Oh man,
which it could be. It could be. It has that kind of flow.
Yeah, there's just something about the melody that is very well. It's structured.
Yeah.
I guess. It's not really the word I wanted, but yeah.
I mean, you're right. It is. It is a structured song, but then the end it does kind of trail off.
That's true. There's a nice little bridge at the end.
Yeah.
And it's just a minute and a half basically.
Yeah.
So
there's a part of me that wants to say this could be like a Beatles song, and I don't really know why. I think it's just the way it ends makes it sound like this could be a Beatles song.
It's super melodic in that sort of Paul McCartney kind of way.
Oh, it's definitely a Paul song.
Yeah.
Another song that should have been a Beatles song.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know why.
Amazing.
Oh my god, I can't believe I said that. Fucking Beatles.
There's a lot of Beatles influence on Antler. The
Bob at his noisiest. Yeah. In all seriousness, though, I've heard the phrase "devil doll" before. It's definitely like a cheap exploitation kind of horror thing.
Yeah, like a horror movie trope, like Chucky or whatever.
Yeah. So I guess it makes sense for that to be the name of I'm stumbling on my words. The more I look at that title, the less devil and doll mean anything to me. Like the more I concentrate on that name, the less they seem like real words.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
I'm gonna hurt my bird.
Just don't stare at it, man.
Yeah, which you could probably say about the song itself. Like, it's not a bad song by any means, but it's a disgusting song.
Yeah.
Like it's
how you threw it in the fire and it comes back looking better than ever.
Yeah. Like a more frightening grasshopper rap.
Exactly, yeah. And both of those same place flag got smashed kind of era, and you could call them outtakes from that album. I don't think they were ever seriously considered for that album, but like maybe.
Yeah, but they would fit. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, go on.
No, I mean, I think that they could have been considered in the sense that while there's a specific approach to those songs that isn't really on the album, because it's usually Jimmy will strum one chord, whereas like at least like the songs, the boombox tracks that made Same Place will have two chords. Well, this has two chords. Like Club Molluska is the one I think of the most. Like Club Molluska, Air Show, Ambergris. I could see it all being from the same session.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, and because I think it like hell, like those tracks are weirder than some of these, but we're not there yet.
You can tell that
the normal Antler tracks are on disc 4.
Right. Yeah. What I picture is just Bob had lyrics in this case. And just got together with Jimmy in the basement.
Yeah.
And just kind of winged it, and came up with this batch of songs that some of them ended up on the album, some on Suitcase, and of course Buzzards and Dreadful Crows ended up being remade, which is kind of cool that Bob excavated that.
Yeah, and
we're gonna hear that a little later.
Yeah, and he excavated another one too, a song that I like a lot more. I will note actually, but that's disc 4. Yeah, but that's disc 4. We'll be there next week. Panthers.
Yes.
This would kick so much ass if you didn't know the full band version.
That's true.
Because it's just missing something.
Yeah.
The full band one has a slightly different arrangement, and it benefits the song so much more.
For sure.
Yeah.
Great song either way, but yeah.
Oh, still good.
I would love. I don't know why this one never. This one's kind of due for revisiting in some form, whether live or heck, why not on the album? I don't know.
I mean, it can. Yeah. I mean, it can't all be the textbook committee.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
That's what I've heard is that they claim Panthers is their own or something.
Yeah, they do. That band. Hope you can get a chance to see them someday. But I think
one day
said they played their final show. I'm not sure.
Dang. Was that Little Dave who sang at that one?
Yeah.
God. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Great performers, those guys, and yeah, they definitely do the song justice. It's awesome to see.
Yeah. What do we have next? Cocaine Jane. It sounds like Acid Ranch to me.
Oh, yeah.
And
It's a little more melodic than Acid Ranch.
Well,
but,
yeah.
Yeah, that
It's
era
the same,
for sure.
yeah. And it's 52 seconds long. And if you think about the words and you look at the title, like, it's not subtle.
Right.
Bob's not really pulling any metaphors here. It is about cocaine.
Yep. Good old Cocaine Jane.
Yeah, Bob writing a song about cocaine the only way he knows how, with a mellow acoustic tune. That's what cocaine is.
I like the vocal on this. The melody is good. And speaking of cover bands, at Heat Fest last year or maybe 2 years ago, this band, oh shoot, I'm blanking on their name, but it's this guy Jensen from California. He's the singer. Oh, why can't I remember their band name? They did a full band version of this song. It was a really cool choice. It sounded great.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it again, and it's like it's the same rhythm as "Time Will Destroy You."
Oh.
Da 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 da. Like it's almost like a conga line kind of rhythm. There's a better term for that. I am just blanking what it is, and it's a rhythm Bob doesn't really use all that much.
Interesting, yeah.
I don't think, at least. I'm probably forgetting something more recent that uses that, but that's what I thought of. We should move on. There's not a whole lot to say about Cocaine Jane. Okay. I mentioned before that the two best tracks in Boston Spaceship 0 to 99 are Suitcase tracks. This is the other one, Exploding Anthills, except I cannot say which version is better because they're both great.
I like the vocal effect on this one.
Yeah.
But I like the I've been drinking part on the remake, which you don't really hear as much.
Alone tonight. I've been drinking alone. Yeah, that's a great hook.
I like it. I used to think this song was much older than it is, but I think this is another one that's mislabeled. I think.
Yeah, this is another.
Misneeded.
It's another Do the Collapse demo.
Yeah.
But it could have been older.
It could have been. I used to think it was an early version of what became Stabbing a Star, because the riff is pretty much the same.
Ooh. I can see. I definitely don't think that's true, and I think if you asked Bob, he would say, I don't remember that one. But, well, I don't know for sure. I just know that Bob doesn't always remember where songs came out. So I can imagine Bob, a song like Exploding Anthills slipping through the cracks over time.
Yeah.
I mean, you've written thousands of songs. You're bound to forget a bunch. I've certainly forgotten a bunch of my own. It happens. Exploding Anthills is great. It's got... What's the word? Dirt?
Grit.
It's grit. Yeah. Let's go with grit, because Bob doesn't really do songs that quite sound like. Let's go. I don't know, because it's not sleazy.
Oh,
it's
grungy.
Grungy might actually be the word I'm looking for. Like I don't want to say sludgy. Sludgy. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a very low end sort of focused song.
Yeah, gotcha.
Maybe not in the frequency range, but like on the guitar, you could rip like half the strings off your guitar and this song would still work because that's just how it's meant to be played. It's grungy. Wow,
yeah.
That could have gone a little better.
Grunge Bob.
Yeah. Yeah.
His next song has something grunge on it, I feel like. Or it was recorded underwater.
Yeah, this is a Perch Warble from it's a Back to Saturn X outtake.
Yep.
And this is from the lo-fi version of Back to Saturn X.
Yeah. I loved being able to hear the clearer version.
But I like
Suitcase 2.
But this one is way better. No doubt in my mind, this is the better version. It's so much better.
What makes it better? Is it like the performance or the...
Well, part of it's just the mix. I don't like how Bob's vocals are mixed on the other one.
Oh, gotcha.
But also, it sounds better in E than in F, I'm going to be honest.
I didn't realize they were in different keys.
Well, because all the Saturn X tracks were recorded with the guitars a half step tuned down. I don't know if that was either it was a deliberate decision, or the tapes got slowed down somehow, or like, I mean, you can hear it on Bob's home demos. He doesn't really give a shit what his guitar is tuned to. It's the shapes that matter to him. So maybe it was that. I don't know. I can't really confirm or deny any of it, but I don't know. I noticed these things. And I think this song works better as a sort of bash it out garage kind of thing. Like,
Gotcha.
Again, it's a good Suitcase song. It's a highlight on Suitcase, but I don't know.
She's a rolling devil.
She's rolling something away.
Yeah.
Da, do,
And it's got a little false ending, doesn't it?
Yeah, like it's a really, like, as a garage rock kind of song, it's really solid.
Definitely. It's just catchy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So, this next one's interesting.
This is a long name. Medley, which is, by the way, a prefix I've only ever seen on one other song in my entire life, and it's the one track in the middle of Beatles for Sale. That has Medley in the title. No other song I see.
City.
Yeah.
Hey.
The one that Paul does. The one that Paul does where, as a kid, I did not really even consider them being two different songs because I don't know the originals. I'm going to cut this out because it's not about Bob. The fact that the two songs blend so well together, I don't know what that's a testament to, but it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this view, True Sensation, On the Wall, it sounds just like Bob making stuff up as he goes, because there's a few recordings on Suitcase 2 from this, and on this one too. I think there's a track on disc 4 that sounds like this.
Suitcase, there's definitely another one, but it's
Suitcase 2.
Like a song.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's a really beautiful track on Suitcase 2 that's from this, I guess, tape. And then there's also a track on Suitcase 2 that is literally the first part of this medley.
Yep.
Just, forgetting what you put out. And I think that the first part of this, it's called Free It. On here it's called This View. And I guess I understand why Free It is on its own on the other one, because it's the best part. Like, this
kind of funny that, I like that it's awesome to hear this, because you get to hear, like you said, it's a songwriting session. Like, Bob's, like, sitting there, like, making stuff up and seeing what sticks. Like, and you can see, in this case, what's stuck, because
immediately after.
Yeah.
What are we coming up to? Yeah, I guess we're gonna talk about these together, aren't we? Okay. Well, we'll get to coming up to soon. That'll make it easier to edit. This View is a beautiful little tune. True Sensation. It's not a song. It is an idea.
Right.
And Bob tried it.
Yeah. Oh, should we? On This View, that little strum pattern that Bob does is really cool.
Again, only one other song that I've ever heard Bob do it on. Also disc 4.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's an excellent little thing. We'll put it that way. I am not good at that little cheeky whatever.
I'm trying to remember True Sensation.
Because it's not a song. It is an idea. Bob tries it for 20 seconds, and then he's like, I'm not feeling that. Let's try this one right here. Yeah, because On the Wall is like a song.
Yeah.
And then let's just transition, because it's more interesting to talk about What Are We Coming Up To, which is a B1000 outtake that uses that riff.
Yeah, and the vocal melody is pretty different.
Yeah.
Similar.
To me, it's a completely different melody, I think.
Yeah. But it's got that riff, which is a cool little riff.
It's a little, I don't want to say atonal, but it definitely sounds like it strays a bit from more, common scales and more into just wherever Bob's fingers land.
For sure.
Yeah.
This is another B1000 outtake that's probably it just doesn't fit, because it's just very...
there's not enough to it.
You feel like it could have been maybe a different arrangement would have... Like, this feels kind of like a rock song, but it's done with that great like acoustic kind of sound, which is cool, but
it doesn't
I don't
really
know.
fit. Yeah,
It's
what
got
also
that weird toy sound in it.
Yeah, I think I have something in my basement that kind of sounds like that, but I don't think it's what Bob used. Not that I have a
Yeah.
name for it anyway, but I do have something somewhere in my basement that kind of sounds like that.
It's got a weird title for a Bob song too.
Yeah, like
What are we coming up to?
Yeah, it's a long
He
question.
doesn't usually do sentences.
Yeah, that's what Dinosaur Jr. does for all their song titles, are just common sentences.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this could be like a dinosaur name, but it's definitely weird as a GBB name. Speaking of odd names, and oddly enough, B1000 outtakes.
Yeah.
Apparently Bob wanted to put back to Saturn X outtakes, scissors in the Clayox in. My God, in being in parentheses is the funniest thing. He wanted that on B1000 at one point.
Yeah.
It's a good tune. I don't know about
yeah.
I don't know that this recording would have worked, but I'd like to hear this song done up.
That would be cool, yeah. This recording is bare bones. Like I think it's guitar and drums, but it doesn't really strike me as like a full band kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, it's
cool song.
Yeah, really nice backing vocals from Toby on this one. I did notice that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Lest we forget. Those great backing vocals. Those make the song. You get your scissors out.
Yep.
Yeah. I have a question about the next one.
Okay.
So, it is safe to assume the Codys Antler was recorded, like the basic instrumental was recorded in the 80s and then overdubbed in the 90s, because there's a few other songs across the Suitcases that are done up like that.
Yeah,
but it's
finish your thought.
Just like not Old Friend, because that is all 80s, like you can tell, but like the Suitcase Smothered in Hugs, Suitcase Why Did You Land? I'm pretty sure we're both, Acid Ranch, messing around, although more put together than Acid Ranch. And then Bob and Toby overdubbed, and I think Codys Antler is that.
Interesting. I agree. Like whenever you hear that drum machine, I believe that is what at the time they called Mailbox, which was sort of like an Acid Ranch era.
Yeah, Acid Ranch era, but it was a little better.
A little more like a little
structured,
more composed, whereas Acid Ranch was more kind of like freeform. But I think you're right. This is from that. I never thought about it being overdubbed later, so that's interesting. That's definitely a possibility. Like maybe Bob was getting ready to add something to it, some vocals maybe, or was revisiting it and just didn't happen.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Is I swear, just reading old forum posts, the first time Superman was a rocker was just ever mentioned. I think one of the Rockathon guys had said that before anyone seemed to know what the track list was, that Bob had revisited Codys Antler.
Really?
And then it didn't go in the album.
Aw, shucks.
But Fascination attempted to.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because when I heard about Superman Was a Rocker, like in the concept of, Bob's gonna add vocals to old instrumentals, like this is exactly the sort of thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
I mean, Bob does have a pretty, like, there's a handful of instrumentals around, some of which could definitely have worked with vocals. Like, I could sort of see this one, but the ones he chose on the actual album some of them are just very, like,
out there. Like one of them is just stabbing a star backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it'll be like a boombox demo, but he adds stuff. I think one of them is just a boombox demo with no overdubs.
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, lest we forget More Hot Dogs, Please, and Love Your Spaceman. Two genuinely good, like really good songs. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, Superman Was a Rocker isn't really relevant to Suitcase 1. It's Suitcase 4 where it ends up becoming relevant. The Suitcase that came out 7 years after Superman. The Suitcase has been time. Once in a While, I believe, was one of the tracks on Everlasting Big Kick, which is a Bob solo EP that never got released.
I think you're right, yeah.
And I think it's notable for two things. One, it's Candyland Riots from the Tonics and Switchy Chasers thing. And the flanger on the guitar is so intense that it overtakes the guitar. It sounds more like Bob singing over an effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a weird thing to do for a pretty song like this. Which is why, if anyone other than Bob had done it, I'd probably hate it. But I understand why Bob would want to do that.
Bob can pull off. Yeah, Bob can. He's not always comfortable with just being really pretty.
Yeah.
It's gotta be
fuck it up.
fucked up in a way. A little weird. Yeah, Bob, he can. He's the lo-fi king. He can do it. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
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 What a nice song. I love the melody is really nice, so I like that he revisited it on Candyland Riots, and it kind of fucked up de-prettied it even further, but slowed it down a little bit, and it really lets that melody kind of come out, and so it's a really nice song. This one is too. I mean, pretty similar to some of the Benzing stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
A little different, but you can kind of tell it's in the same vein. So.
Yeah. Speaking of very beautiful and pretty songs, Buzzards just... I keep doing really bad intros on purpose. Buzzards and Dreadful Crows, which was a Same Place outtake that then became a Propeller outtake. I think this was on the Corpse-like track list. That sounds right.
You might be right.
Yeah, I guess Bob was like, I want this there. And then it popped up as the beginning of the Back to Saturn X radio report. I think I mentioned in episode 1 of this, somewhere on the podcast, that in one of my classes, the professor was a big classic era GBZ fan, and I think knew some other stuff too. Who we started talking because we were talking about sampling and stuff in class. He was like, isn't there a Guided by Voices song that does that? And I was like, yeah, the radio report. And he went, and this guy, by the way, played music in the classroom speakers fairly loud. So, you know how this starts. Dun, 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 and Bob just wailing. And so, my professor puts on the radio report as it hits me that no one else in this room besides me knows that me and him know this band. So a bunch of people's first impression of Guided by Voices is going to be this. I spent that entire minute and a half laughing because Buzzards and Dreadful Crows on here, you can... Knowing the B1000 version first, it almost feels like Bob's melody is restricted by Jimmy just playing 2 chords.
Because it's just one or two. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You can really hear it trying to leap out in a way that most for a reason, the other Antler songs don't quite do. And you can tell that melody wants to do a little more. I mean, on B1000 it does. I mean, I would hope if you're listening to this, you've heard the B1000 version because it's track 2 on an album that every indie person knows. But
it's interesting. I think of Bob sitting there and thinking, hey, there's something to this vocal and figuring out these chords to it to really make it stand out. So that's cool that happened. Because I wouldn't have heard this track and thought, this would be a great sing-along or something. But,
yeah.
It is.
Oh, it absolutely is. People should sing along to Antler songs more. Yeah. Carnival at the Morning Star School. This is also a Do the Collapse demo.
Yep. I always thought, again, just because of the way this was labeled as 92 or something. But when you think about it, Bob wasn't writing songs like this back then.
Yeah, this one takes so many twists and turns in a minute. In 1 minute. It's one
of those songs it's just pure melody, but it takes so many almost to compare it to one that's contemporary Dragons Awake.
Yeah.
Also,
contemporary, I guess contemporary at the time, not contemporary now. I mean, there's stuff now that I think would fit with this, like Morning Star School could have been an Aztec track.
Oh yeah.
Actually, considering some of the songs that are on Aztec, it should have been an Aztec track, but I don't want to have to cut anything out because we're on a roll so
far. I mean, maybe it'll pop up someday.
Yeah, well,
Spaceships did this one a few times.
See, so if they could do it, why couldn't GBV? I mean, most of the albums have a remake or two, so.
I wonder why if the Spaceships had an arrangement it didn't pop up on an album, because they played that while they were touring for Brown Submarine, and they were playing some tracks that ended up on Planets.
I mean, I think it's because, given the general Boston Spaceship sound, that sound wouldn't fit at all. Because like Planets Are Blasted to My Ears is a very crunchy album.
Yeah.
I mean, Slushy himself has talked about not being pleased with how that album came out, and I think it's an album that's grown on me, but it does suffer from a weak mix. I can't imagine. It pains me slightly to think of a song like that sounding like Planets. Maybe like Cube House. It sounds like Cube House to me. It could have been on Cube House, which.
Yeah. Bring it on.
I know that album. That album also had a bunch of remakes, but I don't think those songs are on Suitcase One. I don't remember. I don't remember. It's completely irrelevant, so we'll look at that after we end the call. Because I want to look into that, but we don't need to now. Cruise. Someone in 2000 reviewed every song in Suitcase and said this was her least favorite GBV song.
Yeah, that was an odd one.
20 years later, I hope she knows how wrong she was. Because Cruise is great. It is not the better Cruise. Awesome. It is not the better Cruise, but it is the more available Cruise.
True.
Yeah, and it's still Cruise. If you liked Cruise before, you'll like it now. What always stood out to me is that it always made me wonder how they recorded this. Because at the very end, the bass is it's trailing off and it's just the bass, and it's doo doo, and then it goes into Unleash the Large Hearted Boy.
Does it?
Yeah, like at the very end as it's fading out, you just hear doo 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 doo, and it's like it's like for the record, I think.
Never noticed that.
Yeah. This is a tangent, but I think it has to be said or I'll forget it otherwise. That I told one of my friends once, because one of my friends is a big metalhead, and I told him that GBV is the most high energy show that won't have a mosh pit. And then I thought about Unleashed, and I was like, actually, you could mosh. You could mosh to that. You can't mosh to Cruise, but you can. I could see a big pit opening up during Unleashed, but I think GBV being a bunch of guys in their 30s. I mean, you don't have to be young to make moshing music, but I think the audience they attract is a little old for that, generally speaking. Not to insult, the people who go to the shows, but...
Right.
Yeah. Cruise, though. I don't know.
Cruise, it's an interesting song because, wasn't it... It's basically an Alien Lanes outtake.
Technically, I think it's a kind of, sort of thing. Because Bob did demo it for Alien Lanes, but the way he played it, like he even says at the beginning, I can't play the bass line.
I don't have the bass line.
Yeah, I think the song had already been established. And I think,
for sure, and they played it live.
Yeah, and they said, this is a cover of our Friends in Freedom Cruise. It's like, you're still full of shit, Bob. I love you, you're so full of shit. But my guess is that they wanted to do Cruise again for Alien Lanes, and not really polish it up because Alien Lanes is a very dirty album, but I think they wanted to really give it a go. And maybe this is that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. It doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't fit with
Alien
Lanes or really anything that Bob was doing at the time. It's very kind of slow song.
Yeah.
One that jumps out and grabs you, but it is good. It has a good hook. And great bass line.
Round
so
you
cool
now.
Yeah.
Round you now. Yeah, it's great.
Oh.
And Greg's ripping solo. That
so cool.
It's a great solo. Got to talk about that solo because when it starts, it sounds like Greg's hitting the wrong note. So the solo starts really weird. And then immediately he acts like nothing was wrong and the solo just flies.
That's cool.
So any version of Cruise with that solo has to be good because that's a great solo. Gale.
Gale.
Give it to me, lover. Give it to me, lover.
So
It's like hold on.
another,
It's
another one credited to Stingy Queens.
It's Acid Ranch, and it's
just like hold on to.
Yeah, but this song's a lot more like bouncy. Like this song is just Bob and Mitch screaming into a mic because it's fun. Gale's a fun song, and I guess they agreed it was fun because it's Death Trout and Warlock riding a rooster.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Which itself has 2 versions, one of which is officially unreleased but sounds a lot like James Riot to my ears. That's not Gale though. Gale sounds nothing like James Riot.
Yeah, I love that full band, Death Trot. That's a good one.
That's Suitcase. That's Suitcase 5.
It's funny that
I will drive to David out.
Version.
It's just piano, and then there's this,
Dun, 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 dun.
dun, 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 dun. And then there's this version, which makes no allusion to a rooster, and is just, oh yeah, it's. Hey, I wonder if these guys are from Ohio. I wonder if these guys are from the Midwest at all. There's your answer.
Love the harmonies.
Oh yeah.
They're just going for it. So that's cool.
Okay, so you know how I've been referring to the Antler tracks as like the noisiest Bob?
Mm-hmm.
I was wrong.
Gift.
Oh God.
So crazy.
I don't know what to do with Gift because I don't know what it is. Like it credits Jim Greer and Jimmy Pollard in the credits. I don't think Bob knew what this was.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously live, so I just thought of it as a.
I think it's a Monument Club. I think it's Monument Club because there's not enough. There's just like 10 people clapping at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like
interesting.
I could see it being Monument Club. I think that would make sense considering it is just noise. Like the funny thing about saying that Gift is a song that's just kind of there, that doesn't serve a purpose, is that. And I know this kicks me in the head the first time I listened to it, is I'm listening to it and it's like, this song's doing nothing. And then the clapping got really familiar.
Yep.
One more, motherfuckers! I do that at shows. That has entered my vernacular. One more, motherfuckers! That. Alright. Like, the last 20 seconds of Gift are legendary, because that's Sunfish Holy Breakfast. That's a Jabberstroker.
Yep.
Which itself is which Jabberstroker itself is part of the fabled Bob asked Toby to say a bad word in the song because he wouldn't do it. Bob wasn't content with fucking up his own song. He said, Toby, you gotta say fuck. I think it's
speaking of Sunfish.
Ooh, good call. Flying Party sounds like the hook from one of the best songs from the classic era.
Yes.
Yeah, Beekeeper seeks Ruth. That woman is as fine as the world's finest paramount pyramid. But instead it sounds like it was recorded in a studio.
This is definitely...
It has to be.
Eastleigh with Kim Deal.
Ooh, yeah. But like, it doesn't seem to be part of anything else. I don't know about Deal.
This is my theory.
Mm-hmm.
This is my theory.
Okay.
And I have read this somewhere, but
Ooh,
I think
okay.
they started... I think they... Some allusion to them doing a half recorded version of Beekeeper Seeks Ruth in the studio.
Oh wow!
At Eastleigh, at the Kim Deal produced sessions that were cut short. Mm-hmm. So my theory is that they were working on Beekeeper Seeks Ruth, the version on Sunfish Holy Breakfast being like a demo.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing it up in the studio and didn't really finish it, and then the snippet ended up on Suitcase.
Yeah.
So that's my theory on that.
Yeah, see, I can believe that. Like, I don't think Jim Greer organ is a real credit. I think it's Bob not knowing to do with that really weird reverb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a weird reverb. It doesn't belong on there. But I seem to recall Jim saying that, I think it's in the book too, that by the time they got to recording Power of Suck with Kim Deal, it already wasn't Power of Suck. It had already moved on.
Oh, yeah,
so I think by that point it was Mustard Man and Mother Monkey. And, you know, Mother Monkey in the title.
Parties here.
Yeah. So I think I could imagine like this and the full band Pink Drink having been part of Mustard Man and Mother Monkey and whatever other names it has that have been attached to it.
Totally, yeah.
Because it sounds like
Really,
by that point that's what they were doing in the studio. They were
Yeah.
doing Mustard Man.
For sure, yeah. I think you're right, and it's a really interesting era for the band. You know, just there was so much material, so many different permutations. I mean, the Power of Suck is just kind of a legendary.
Well, Power of
thing,
Suck.
so-
Yeah. I mean, Power of Suck itself is kind of like the B1000 of its time, in that over time you notice how many of those songs have their origins somewhere else.
Yeah,
That's an episode of its own where we do like it's like multi-level shit canning.
whoa, yeah.
But I think we got to finish here first with another recyclable, Trashed Aircraft, which I do believe to be a Do the Collapse demo, and you may know it as a Nightwalker song.
True.
Trashed Canned Goods.
Yep, which has that same kind of little tidbit at the end about lasting forever.
Even in radioactive weather, which is a song that's all over classic era Bob. And June Salutes You.
Yep.
The whole incredible 158 Years of Beautiful Sex.
Oh
Yeah.
So
It might be in
interesting.
another one. It might be in another one, but I'm not sure. But Bob seems to be really into that phrase a lot around then. Yeah, Trashed
But yeah.
Aircraft is a good song.
Just good trashy song, and very nice remake by Boston Spaceships, where the bass line really makes it for me.
Yeah.
On that one.
Mhm.
Dun, dun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love the intro on the album version too. The little sound bite where
We need to warm up
it's
with some
cold
really.
out.
We need to warm
When
up
you
with
say
some really
we
hot
warm up,
rock.
it's really hot rock.
Yeah. What's weird is that Bela? I don't know why I think it's him. But having listened to Crying Your Knife Away at some point in my life, I don't remember it very well, but I seem to recall a voice drunkenly shouting along to If We Wait that I imagined was him. I don't know. I don't know. It's probably not him. No one ever explained where they got this out. I don't think Slushy did.
I always pictured like some sort of cheesy like TV show or almost like a weatherman or something. Although or like a radio guy. I guess probably more likely radio.
Yeah. Or like CBS This Morning that I know has like bands on it sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe that I don't know. But that's not on the Suitcase version. The Suitcase version is scuzz.
True.
Like this
There's
is
another demo of this on
Delicious Pie. Yeah.
Which I think is labeled. No, I could be wrong. There are some. I thought it was maybe labeled as a Mag Earwig demo.
It's a Do the Collapse demo.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I believe adds validity to it being a Do the Collapse demo here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good way to round out the disc, I feel. Because I mean, you notice now, like, is it me or is this a more subdued disc?
It really is, yeah.
Like I'm looking at the time, no big tangents, no spending 5 minutes talking about one song. We're at almost an hour. We did the whole thing.
You're killing it. That's great.
Yeah.
It's a new record. We're in the swing of things.
It makes sense now. Yeah, and then I guess I'm gonna not edit any of this because I'm so proud of this. I'm not even gonna. I could say like the worst thing and it's not gonna get cut out. Like I could say, "Hey, Cutter, the White Album sucks," and I won't cut it.
Oh my god.
See, I'm saying that at the end because I know realistically no one's gonna get this far.
We'll see. It's an Easter egg.
Yeah, I'm happy to keep talking, but we should probably end the recording here to not jinx ourselves.
Yep, sounds good.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, really cool. That was disc 3 from Suitcase 1. We have one disc left to go, and then we have to consider how badly we really want to do this podcast. I mean, I want to be clear. I really like doing this. It's been fun going through every disc.
For sure.
It's a matter of who else needs to hear this.
I'm looking forward to the next disc for
Yeah.
sure.
God,
this is a good one. So
this disc is loaded with hits.
yeah.
Oh, there's gold in these hills. But that is for a later date. So until then, we have been Suitcase Disc by Disc. Insert formal outro here. I don't know. Do you have anything to say, Dan?
No, that was good. Just fill in, make your own outro because the future is unwritten, and yeah.
Yeah, cool, great, all right. All right.
Yeah.
That works.